Good afternoon, everybody. This is Nosheen Mukhtar, and you're watching me live on Stylfemina Talks once again. Today, we are going to talk about leadership. And for this purpose, I have invited Nancy Zakharia with me. She is one of the leadership coaches, and beyond that, she's been into organization and talent development almost half of her career. She will tell the number of years instead of my telling you that. She's been a strategic HR business partner, a life strategist, leadership coach. Then she has also been devising various talent management strategies. She's been working with C-suite for succession planning, coaching, employee engagement, diversity and inclusion, and you name it. So with such a wonderfully thriving career, we have Nancy today with us, and she's going to share bits and pieces from her story for you. And then we're also going to talk about her newly launched program, of which she will give us the details so that you can benefit from that. So, welcome to the show, Nancy, and I'm very delighted to have you with us.
Thank you, Nasheen. I'm very pleased to be here with you today. Thank you for having me.
We want to know more about you and your work. So, if you could shed some light on what you've been doing in 15 years.
So it's been more, but then I pivoted and shifted, and my work in the HR space has been for over a decade, for the past 15 years, and I've moved around in different areas of HR and worked on different topics, projects, stretch assignments as well throughout my career. And this is the place where I found myself, and I found my sweet spot. And this is where I stayed. I stayed in that area. However, not stayed doing the same things. I always try to find something new, to create something, innovate, and bring different initiatives in the work that I'm doing.
That is great to know. And I'm sure you've been inspiring a lot of other people like yourself towards excellence. So, when we see a stellar career, what is the first feeling that we get?
Uh,
Happiness, of course.
joy.
Yes,
Joy
for
and
sure.
fulfillment. Joy and fulfillment. This is how I can summarize it.
So, when we think of you as a organization and talent development architect, how do you define it? How do you define the scope of performance that you've been leveraging?
Yeah, and this is where I've been doing an architect role by putting things in place, by designing, by creating, by building blocks to create different initiatives and processes and the leadership development programs to support the individuals in the space of talent. And this is where I've been supporting organizations as well in developing the organization as a whole through different employee engagement and other initiatives to support the employee experience. So this is where I see myself as the architect. And you mentioned like the most recent initiative that I have in the Women's Development Program. I don't know if you would like me to go straight into talking about this.
Yes, sure. You can talk about the Women Development Program. I believe that this is one of the most successful initiatives that have been recently launched by you.
This is the most recent one, and you know that diversity, equity, and inclusion is a top priority for everybody and in all organizations, and it is a top priority for us and part of our strategy. And for me, it's always looking at the business requirements and creating things that would link and support the organization in achieving its strategy. And this is where I saw that there is an opportunity, specifically that I work in an oil and gas industry, and it's mainly male dominated. So this is an area where there had to be a focus on it to bring to support the women in working on their careers and building their careers. The program that I created I initiated it after we finalized our talent review process, where we look at our high potentials, the talent, and how we're going to grow people, and how we're going to build our succession plans for future leadership roles. So that program, when I looked at it, I built it around the 70-20-10 learning model, where the program incorporated different elements that caters to everybody's learning types as well, and includes psychometric assessment, case studies, mentoring. It includes virtual modules, virtual because we were in the COVID era. So we had to do all the modules virtual on different topics, starting with self-leadership. And I was also providing coaching for the participants, the female participants on the program, over 12 months. So the program was 12 months. And they had stretch assignments, and they had access to leadership throughout the program. And the beauty of it was the buy-in from the leadership, because part of the program was working on a real business related project. So the group was divided into two groups, like the wider group was divided into two. And the leadership team provided two projects that are key to the business success. And the participants are working on these projects. Actually, they're going to be presenting in February. So all the other elements of the program have been completed. This is the only element that is still going on. And they had sponsors from the leadership team. And in February, they're going to be presenting their findings and recommendations on these two topics that are key to the business, to their project sponsors and to other members in the leadership team.
Very interesting.
Yeah, the feedback that I got actually from the leadership team and from the participants themselves was phenomenal. They have benefited a lot. They have been taken out of their comfort zone, because when we are in a very technical environment, we get sometimes driven towards achieving tasks and projects and timelines, and we don't take a step to re-energize, to do some introspection and to look at ourselves. And little had they knew that many of the things that impacted their productivity actually started with them. And the first module that we did on self-leadership was a huge eye-opener for them.
Great. Why self-awareness is necessary? You've said self-leadership so many times. That's why I thought of it. Why self-awareness is so important? Why do we have to think about leadership as self-leadership first?
As simple as it is, if we're not able to lead ourselves, how can we lead others? So leadership starts first. Leadership first starts by us knowing and being able to lead ourselves, leading our emotions, our choices, and being aware of who we are normally and who we are under pressure, and what are some of our maybe sometimes limiting beliefs that are blocking us and making us show up in a certain way. Because if we look at it, the outcomes that we get, if we look at how can I change the outcome that I get, we have to look at the root cause. Where did this outcome come? And the root cause is always the mindset. It starts with the beliefs that we have. And those beliefs will impact our behaviors, which will impact the actions that we take, and the actions will impact the outcome. So this is where we always go to the root cause.
Very true. Mindset is the root of everything. And I think your every individual's self-awareness starts from there, from the way they think, and then towards reflections, self-reflections, how everybody is because I understand that our audience must be thinking how to become better self-aware, why these ladies are talking about this. So yes, definitely, to become better self-aware, you need to make use of reflection. You need to review the way you think, the way you perceive yourself, the way you feel about yourself, and the way you see the external world with reference to your internal consciousness.
Exactly, exactly. And how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you, and what is the impact on others. Sometimes people don't realize what is like their intention. No one goes out there with an intention to be bad or have a bad impact. But sometimes we go out there with good intentions, but actually end up with bad or negative impact on others. So it's important
Yeah.
to see how others perceive us as well.
Yes. So when we are receiving a lot of negative feedback from our workplace and our colleagues and the people around us, that also affects the way we perceive ourselves and the way we feel about ourselves. So your self-leadership jumps in at that time and you try to understand what's going wrong and how you can fix that.
Yes, and I would say I would always like to use the constructive, because to me feedback is and this is how I like to view it, and I would encourage others to view it. Feedback is a gift, and it all depends on us how we want to use that gift. Um, the gifts sometimes take it like a tennis ball hit in their face, and I encourage you just to take it as a gift, and just like you do with any gift, you open it, look at it. You might feel that at this point I don't need that gift. You put it on the side, but then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, yeah, I have this. Let me see how can I use it. Or you might open it and say, wow, this is the most wonderful thing, and I can utilize it. So it's really important when we receive that feedback um, to always look what is the 10% truth in what others are telling me, because there is at least 10% truth in that element, and that will help us by being open and receptive to be able to do that reflection and look within ourselves and see, okay, what is not going quite as I want it to go, and what is it that I can change about it.
Yes, very true. Why, in your view, Nancy, why should women intentionally strategize for building upon their skills and their talents?
And I would say that each individual should do that, and perhaps more specifically women, as there's always an internal tension of wanting to do well in their career and wanting to be really good moms and good housewives. So there is this natural tension that exists, and they have to make decisions around how that balance would look like for them. So, being intentional about strategizing and putting a plan on how they can bring their talents is really essentials. And you know, I believe, and I always remind my children as well, that anyone can be anything that they set their mind on, and especially my daughter. I keep repeating that to her.
I was
And
sitting one day, Nancy, sorry to cut you short. I was sitting one day with one of my friends, and he said, I
yes,
was so bored of celebrating my birthday on the same date I changed it. And I decided to be a different person. So, yes, we can go to that extent as well, and we can change everything
yes,
about us just because we are
yes.
more comfortable with being somebody new.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And you know, when we are aware of our talents, building upon these talents will help us achieve our goals and the things that we want in a more efficient way than spending time focusing on what is it that I lack.
Yeah.
So I am as well a strength coach, and you know I work a lot with Clifton Strength and building, and I believe that people really need to um, strengthen and use the talents that they have and bring them more to everything that they do. And also, if I look according to Gallup, the key success is to fully understand how to apply your greatest talents and strengths in your everyday life, because people who focus on using their strength were found to be 3 times as likely to report having an excellent quality of life. So this is where sometimes people get so distracted focusing on what are their areas of improvement, but then they leave that area where that will give them better and easier and more efficient productivity and success. You know, we see talent in world class sports stars like, you know, Michael Jordan, Lionel Messi. We're still fresh out of the World Cup now,
World Cup,
and
yeah.
many others. But you know, their talent really goes beyond pure athleticism. So they have a competitive drive to be the best. We also see talent, for example, like in Oprah Winfrey, and
Yes.
her ability to connect with the audience, which made her an influential personality. So these people, when we look at them, they aren't necessarily well-rounded individuals, but they are and they're not able maybe, or they don't want to also to achieve perfection in every single area or in different areas, but they learn to maximize their potential in areas where they have performed with excellence and where they have maybe performed in a near perfect performance in specific activities. So this is where I really invite women to let go of the idea of trying to become well-rounded and just focus on identifying and shaping their natural talents. And that does not mean forgetting about the areas of improvement. They still need to be aware of them and know how to manage them, but the biggest opportunity for success really lies in refining their talents.
Right. How can we improve an individual's willingness to stay motivated and accept challenges? Because, yes, the performance graphs go up, down, up, down, up, down, and there are problems, right? It's not possible for an individual to have a problem-free life. So, in that case, how we can best stay motivated, how we can be more willing to take challenges.
So what I've noticed in many individuals and specifically in women, that most of them lose their faith in themselves and they don't trust their views, and they have a huge fear of failure and criticism, which makes them play it small and stay in their comfort zone, and maybe quit in the middle of a challenge. So the starting point is really identifying their purpose, their why they want to reach that goal, why they want to do what they want to do, what's the purpose in life. And it's important to stay connected to it. They need to be connected to something bigger than themselves, and that is what's going to fuel their actions and keep them on the right track, aiming towards their goal or their North Star. And when things get tough along the way, and they will, we all know that they will, and nothing goes smoothly, knowing and connecting with their why will be the essential source of energy and motivation. Because, you know,
Yes, I
if things
agree with
happen,
this.
yeah, if
Mm,
things
mm,
happen along the way, they will keep going because they know it's worth it. They can see something bigger that is there at the end of the journey.
mm. Lovely. I love the words see something bigger and then end
Yeah,
of the journey.
definitely. And you know, along the way, because sometimes we only look at the big goal and we want to get it in one step.
Hmm.
So we have to see the importance of achieving minor milestones and celebrating those and taking baby steps towards achieving the bigger one.
Yes.
Um, so this is really important.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, what has been one very interesting incident in your experience while you were doing your 12 months program with women recently?
Mhm. Interesting incidents. Hmm. I don't know if I would consider it interesting. However, at the beginning of the program, I had a couple of ladies who found it so overwhelming, and they felt that the program is like they felt that the program is not them. or it is different than what they know, and they have a lot of things on their plate to do and a lot of things to accomplish, and they just want to quit. That was in the initial couple of months. These same ladies at towards the end, so we talked about it. I coached them through that at the beginning, and at the end of the program, they are the ones who are like, that has been the most transformational journey in my whole life. I've been doing things I never thought I would do. So that was really something interesting to see that change from one continuum at one side to the other.
Yes, I'm sure it must have been very nice for you to understand that things have worked for them.
Yes, yes. And actually see that when you open up, like there is fear always at the beginning for us, any type of fear, or maybe like, so this is what I try to look for. So what is it, what is happening beneath the obvious? What is it that they're trying to tell me? Is it like, I'm afraid I would fail? Is it that, oh, I can't see the value of this? Is it, so what is it? That's why I listen to the things that are behind the obvious and try to coach and support. And with that, really, they were able to see a transformation that I haven't initially thought of.
Great. That's very good to know. What is your one message to our audience today?
One message to the audience. I would say put yourself out there and be courageous enough to step out of your comfort zone, because magic happens out of the comfort zone.
Yes, great. Thank you so much for today. I really enjoyed talking to you, Nancy. And for you guys, Nancy is the cover queen of January issue. If you wish to see her, the event on 19th January is where she's going to have a talk with us, and we're going to know more about her. You can personally meet with her there as well. Apart from this, you can also connect with her on LinkedIn with her name, Nancy Zakharia, and you can also find her on Instagram. Thank you so much for being my guest today, Nancy. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Nosheen. It's been a pleasure.
Take good care of yourself and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.